Welcome back to Tutorial Tidbits and welcome to my studio. This week I am playing with my foam stamp designs from joggles.com. I have many foam stamp designs, but the ones that I'm using this week are Peacock themed. And because they're Peacock themed, I'm working in a sea of blue and teal and bronze and phthalo turquoise. And I've got a fun technique for you where we stamp on the top of the rice paper and then bleed wet, watery paint through the back. And the cool thing about that is when you use these papers for collage and you tear them, you don't have white edges. So it's a lot of fun, and the foam stamps are just, something fun and unique and different. So, and they're on sale. 25% off with Joggles. So all good things. So if you've got a few minutes, let's go check it out. Welcome back to the studio. So today I am having fun with my foam stamp Peacock designs from Joggles. These are brand new. They're not even messed up yet. I haven't even crusted them with paint yet. They're pristine, which is exciting. So I've got 3 Peacock foam stamp designs, and these foam stamps are on sale at Joggles. The link for all the supplies is going to be below the video. This is a great sale on foam stamps, 25% off. Stock up while you can. So I'm going to be using these 3 different designs, and then I'm going to be using Golden Fluid Acrylics Teal because I think that's a great peacock color. Iridescent Bronze Fine because who doesn't like metallic? And then we're going to come from the back side of the paper with this deep, dark anthracnone or indigo blue. So the paper that makes all this possible is the Sketch Paper Rice Pad. This is a 9x12 pad of rice paper. It is very durable, and that's important because we're going to be adding a lot of water to this paper. So this is a highly durable rice paper, and it is 48 sheets in the 9x12 pad. It's definitely my favorite rice paper for collage and for these types of techniques because it's durable, it's thick, it's sturdy, and it can handle a lot of water. So the first thing I'm going to do then is I've got out some sheets of the paper and I'm going to get some palette sheets. So I'm reusing my palette sheets here to protect my desktop. This is my non-stick craft mat desktop. I could definitely work on this because everything wipes off of it and nothing sticks to it because it's sort of a silicone surface. But I like using the palette sheets because they allow me to move the paper out of the way off of my work surface and continue with another sheet. So the first one we're going to do is going to be we'll do all colors in 2 versions. So we'll do the teal and the bronze stamping, and then we will come from the back with the anthracnone blue. That's a hard word to say, anthracnone blue. So what I'm going to be applying how I'm going to be applying the paint to the stamps is with my 6-inch brayer and my gel plate. My very messy, please don't judge me by my gel plate. So I'm going to use that as basically as an ink pad. So I'm going to put that off to the side. You could use a 5x7 or a smaller one or a round one or whatever fits your stamps. This is just the bigger one that I have in the studio. And I'm going to start by rolling out just a little bit more paint than you would for gel printing because we're inking up the foam stamps and they are going to need a little bit more paint. But I'm going to roll it out here on the gel plate in a nice kind of smooth layer. And then I can press the stamps into, let's get 1 sheet of paper here. Then I can press the stamp into the paint and onto the paper. And I get a nice even layer of paint, and I'm going to press it onto the paper. Now, my favorite thing to clean the stamps with is a scrubby bar, a scrubby glycerin soap bar. It has a what am I trying to say? A scrubby part on the back of the sponge, but it is not as abrasive as a kitchen sponge. It's a little less abrasive, and it has a glycerin citrus-based soap in it that will take the paint off the foam stamps. And I will put that in the supply list below. That one didn't get a full Might need to put out a little bit more paint. And you want to make sure you get the paint off the surface of these foam stamps pretty quickly. So either toss them in a dish basin full of water or set them face down in some wet paper towels so that they are not, so the paint does not dry on the surface of the stamps, because that will cause them to get crusty and then you will not be happy with how they perform. So the next color that I'm going to put out is the bronze, and we really should have done both sheets here. Let's grab the second sheet and put a little bit more teal out, and we can stamp on both sheets. So we'll get this one, this big feather eye. This is a fun one. And put that on the second sheet. These are, what I'm doing here is basically creating paper for collage. So I'm putting the stamps out as a pattern. I would overlap and intersect the patterns like I did here to create sort of a peacock paper. I'm going to add the bronze to it, but don't be afraid to overlap them, intersect them. They don't need to be put out like cookies on a cookie sheet. We're trying to create a patterned paper here. So going off the edges is also encouraged to fill the full sheet. So while you've got your palette paper out, just run it right off the edge. We're going to need a little bit more paint there. So in order to get a full sheet, you're going to want some of it to go right off the edge. The other way you can manage the edge is to put the two sheets next to each other and stamp across the gutter, basically. Then you don't have any wasted paint on the palette sheet. You can just go across the edges like that and like this. So that's going to give you a pattern that goes right off the edge of both sheets. Okay, so I'm going to do one more. I'll do one of these feather eyes on this one. And then I'm going to put out the bronze. So I've got a different brayer for the bronze. That's why I like working with two 6-inch brayers. I don't have to clean the first one to make sure that I don't get any teal in my bronze on the other half of my plate. And I'm going to come back in and stamp over with some bronze. Now the teal is still in my stamp because I didn't wipe them off. So I'm going to have a little bit of teal in there. What you can do, of course, is grab a baby wipe. I think these are all dried out though. But I think I can reactivate them with a little bit of water. And I could clean the surface of this before, or I could use the scrubby, go to the sink and use the scrubby. But here in the studio, if I clean the surface with this, with a baby wipe before I switch colors, I don't mind the teal mixing in with the bronze, but if you're a purist and you don't want that, then we'll wipe it off with a baby wipe and see if we can get a more bronze print here. So let's flip this around, and there we go. And again, I'll cross over. All right, so I will take this and deal with it with the scrubby in a little bit, but let's see. We'll get one more. Okay, so we'll do that one in bronze over the top. So I want to make sure I have a decent amount of metallic in both prints. So I have that combo of the metallic and the teal. You have to add more paint to the gel plate than you think you would need. Let's try to line this one up again. I don't know if that'll work, but get the middle of that one. There we go. This is just a couple of stamps from the Peacock collection. It includes a lot more, but I don't want to overwhelm you. So again, let's use these two sheets and print this piece all the way across. So we go off the edges. And that's probably pretty good. I would like to add a little bit of this one. Right here. Okay, I think we've got a couple of really nice combo sheets there. And I'm going to take a minute to take my foam stamps to the sink and scrub them with the scrubby bar before we go forward. Okay, so here they are pretty much back to clean and pristine with a quick scrub from the scrubby bar in the deep sink. So I can just let those dry and put those away. And I've got this beautiful 2 sheets of paper with some bronze and teal, and that's going to look really neat with the dark anthracnone blue. So I'm just going to move this gel plate. Really, I should take a print of this. See if I can get that paint off of it. So I'm going to take the rice paper, the smooth side, and there's a rough side. The smooth side is going to go down onto the plate, and hopefully that will pull up the majority of this paint so I don't have to clean the plate, and it'll give me a base layer for a collage sheet. So cross your fingers. It's much easier to pull a print than to have to clean the plate. So here we go. That's taking a lot off. Beautiful. Okay, it took the majority of the paint off and it gave me the base for a beautiful collage sheet. So we can pull that aside. And then I'm going to grab another sheet of palette paper. So I decided to create these pages in Peacock colors, but of course you could do them in hot, fiery, warm colors or any other palette. Also, I have designs beyond Peacock colors that you might find fun and inspiring. So the creative possibilities are endless. So each of these is going to go face down onto the palette paper. And the next step is to add the anthracnone blue in a wet and watery solution through the back of the rice paper. Now, this will not work with any other paper but rice paper because it's so highly absorbent. It's going to pull the color all the way through to the other side. So I'm just trying to find a place to mix this color. Well, really, I probably should get another palette paper. Okay, so I will reuse this palette sheet. This is the 12 by 16 palette sheet. And let's just squirt out a little bit, decent amount of the anthracnone blue. And I've got a nice big soft brush with water in it. So I'm getting a real watery blue, and I'm going to put that over the back of the rice paper. So the idea is to get a decent amount of water so it can soak through, and a decent amount of paint so the color stays nice and dark. You don't want to water it down so that you lose that deep, dark, rich anthracnone blue. But you do need to add water to get it to go all the way through the rice paper through the other side. When you stamp and you gel print, it just stays on the surface. But when you add a lot of water, it gets absorbed all the way through. Okay, so we've got a lot of water and a lot of that beautiful dark anthracnone blue on there. And now I'm going to pull it up. And because this is durable rice paper, it's not going to fall apart when I do this. I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to flip it over, and you're going to see that beautiful metallic and teal pattern. And you can see that the teal and the metallic is not affected by the dark blue because we didn't put it on top. If we put it over the top, it would have applied dark blue and it would have changed that teal and it would have changed that metallic. But because we soaked it through from the back, those colors are just as vibrant as they were. So let's do the second sheet. Now, the other thing when you are collaging, when this dries, you want to leave it to dry on this palette paper. We can set it off to the side, but it will peel right off this palette sheet because it's shiny, so it won't stick to it. And because the color goes all the way through, when you tear this paper, you're going to have dark blue edges. You won't have to worry a single bit about white edges with this collage paper. So I'm going to set this aside with the palette sheet, and we're just going to do it one more time with the second sheet. It's going to be the same effect, but it's fun to do it a second time. So we will add the water to the anthracnone blue. Actually, we could do a different color on the back. We could do we could do a little turquoise phthalo since we're in the Peacock color combo. So I'll put a little bit of that out. Clean out my brush a little bit, add a bunch of water, and we'll go through this with the turquoise phthalo, which is a dark green blue. Why not? Okay, a little bit more. You don't want to water it down so much that it loses its intensity. And we could certainly ombre that with a little bit of the dark blue. Since it's out here on my palette sheet, we could put a little bit of the dark blue on one end, the anthraquinone, and then come back up here with the phthalo. And this works obviously with any color combination. I like to soak a dark color through the back and have brighter, lighter colors on the front, but you can experiment with your color combos. But here we go. We're going to lift up this sturdy rice paper, flip it over, and you're going to see that beautiful turquoise phthalo color at the top going down to the anthraquinone blue at the bottom, and another beautiful sheet of Peacock rice paper for collage or journaling or your other projects. So look at that. That's really pretty, the first one. So we've got one in the deep, rich blue tones and one in the more teal turquoise tones. And those are from my Peacock collection foam stamps. There's a whole bunch of them. And all foam stamps are on sale with Joggles, 25% off.